All right, so today I want to talk about something that has happened in the family. So, for the first time, my firstborn is going to a school. She's 15 now. She had gone to a school very, very, very long ago. She can't remember it. She would have been 5 or something like that. A preschool or whatever. Then we took her out steadfast. And she's been homeschooled ever since. So now she's going to school for the first time. She's doing music in particular, locally to where we live. Now, this is a public school, so it comes with all of the accoutrements of a public school, like the one I did when I was young. But she only started at 15. Now, this is to some extent a bit of an experiment on the part of us parents, which, is in line with her wishes at the moment. So, she wanted to go to this school because she wanted to get a formal, proper instruction in music in particular. So she studied piano, jazz. Now, as I went to the first meeting with her, it was fairly evident to me that she had no idea how any of this worked when we were there. But she was engaging, asking questions and all sorts of stuff, which makes sense for somebody who is attempting to embrace their own destiny and they are vaguely aware of what that means, like a homeschooled child would. So she begins doing that, and she started the year. So now she has her own little room, which is quite squalid, and she needs to share with other people in the same house, all of them potentially going to different courses and whatnot. And so she's getting used to all of this, right? And she's getting in a queue to get food during lunchtime, and she's always gets lunch barely before everything ends, and because everybody else seems to be cutting in line or something like that. I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but she's quite civilized. Yeah, she's sort of getting used to the thing. I apologize for the long premise. Now, one of the things that was reported to me today by my wife is that they did a class of critical reading or something like that, I think with the purpose of assessing the reading and comprehension of the student. And of course, the text was about white guilt and colonization or whatever. It's a jazz course, man. What the heck's going on? Took them 2 days to begin the indoctrination process. 2 days it takes them. Okay. So, I don't yet know the details of this. I'm sure we'll know them more later today. But I just wanted to briefly touch on this. Because, for example, being she mother tongue English, and we're not in an English speaking country, one of the things she wanted to do is skip English classes. She can't do it. That's not according to protocol. So she's asking a bunch of different questions to the the professor, to the body and everything, and all of the answers she's getting are negative. She doesn't know anything about how school works. And it's absolutely fascinating to observe from the outside and from somebody who's been in it for about 20 years of his life. I was just pondering this today. That's 50% of my life, man, that I'm never getting back. That is incredible. Anyway, resentment set aside. She's somebody who's never experienced this, right? So she now voluntarily checked herself in the prison cell, in the prison ward. And now she's attempting to sort of navigate the prison ward in a way that's reasonable. So she's saying, I'm obviously highly competent here. For instance, it's my understanding that she's corrected the English professor today, because the English professor said relative, I believe. I believe the professor said relative, right? Pronounced relative as relative, right? And so my kid just went relative. she doesn't know that professors don't take kindly to be criticized. This should be quite interesting to watch. But in what sense are we running this experiment? Well, my wife and I are already starting to notice how much we dislike this entire setup and how much this is suboptimal as a way to deal with anything, right? She's got a bunch of classmates who are all native speakers in the local language. She needs to integrate herself in this, which is relatively difficult for her, even though she's not a novice. She already speaks the language okay, but it's obviously the slang and all of that, And they very quickly form their own cliques, and she's completely left out, and it doesn't matter because she's in no way identical to everybody else. And she asks questions and pesters and wants to do other things and says, tries to use her spare time to practice more or whatever. It's all completely crazy to these people. So there's nothing in common between these two universes. Now the experiment is as follows. Will she adapt to the prison universe? Or will she learn to resent it? We are going to get information. Should we ever consider putting our children into these systems when they're older? When they're young, it's out of the question and the answer is no. But when they're older, the indoctrination, the amazing indoctrination, you will struggle to believe this kids. But dude, what's up with my English today? I'm a foreigner, that's what's up. Anyway. You'll struggle to believe this, but when I went to school, none of this existed. And I went to school in 2 different countries with 2 different regimes and 2 distinct different histories. And in neither of them there was any white guilt. In neither of them there was any colonialism and this and that and the other and all what the white man has done left, right and center. None of this occurred ever. So, this is now common core. This is now default. Doesn't matter. You can't protest. I can't even imagine what it would look like if when they asked you, so how do you feel about this text? Is it controversial? And you responded, it's retarded, right? And then what would that look like? Because you get tested, right, by these people with their opinions. So she's learning how to lie. She's learning how to sleaze her way out of having to express her opinion. She's learning how to remain silent under a regime. She's learning all of these incredibly valuable skills that only exist in a tyranny. She's learning how to become a pawn. How to go to bed early because you need to wake up at 7 so you are in time for the classes which start at 8 and end at like 7 p.m. or something. And for all of that time, your time is regimented. If you want to do something, it doesn't matter. You need to do what's on the regimen. It's unbelievable. She checked herself into this. Now, perhaps I should not have allowed this. I don't know. Maybe it will work out. Maybe it won't. It's very early on schedule. It's difficult to know. But it is absolutely fascinating to observe somebody who knows nothing of this awful structure we call school, entering it and being like slamming into door after door after door after door when they're trying to display some degree of free will. All of the other students obviously don't have any of this. They are completely used to it. This is how everything works. They find her weird. Brilliant. Well, we shall see. There will probably be updates on this.